Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we have a few repairs to do. Particularly our Mauler and our Battlemaster have some time that they need to be repaired in. So we'll just tick forward a little bit here. I'm not sure if we're going to hit this financial report yet or not. I mean, obviously, if we want the Mauler and the Battlemaster back, we're going to hit the financial report, right? But I'm not sure if we actually want to go that far. That said, just getting the Salamander back under this regime here, the way we have it set up right now, would mean that we hit the financial report before any of these mechs are done. So maybe we just want to take the financial report. It's not like we're short on funds. So I think that we will just head on forward here, just for a little bit. Our mech warriors are coming back, and once they are all back, which is right now, we could do some mech warrior training. But I think Poet is maybe still getting some training XP from the simulator. I'm not 100% on that. She might be done with that by now, but she might be. So we'll just tick forward until we're actually done here. There's our financial report. No problem whatsoever there. And these are going to, of course, finish up fairly swiftly here from here on out. So we'll just tick forward until those are done. All work orders complete. Let's just double check that they're actually done. The Mauler isn't. Okay, let's hop in there. We'll refit this. What do we need on the Mauler? I don't actually remember what happened to it, if I'm honest. Oh, that's rough. That's very rough. No, seriously, what happened to the Mauler? I have no memory of this place. Okay. Well, at any rate, we can replace quite a lot of this. So the double heat sinks we can definitely replace. That was quite a number of them. What, like 3 per torso, I think? And then like 2 over in this arm. So we'll put in our double heat sinks over here. And I'm kind of underwhelmed by the current status of the Mauler. I'm not sure that we actually want to have this many double heat sinks and have it be the ER large laser boat anymore. We can drop the LRM ammo, which even with this many double heat sinks, puts us at 11.5 tons remaining. What if we were to go for something along the lines of the Clan Gauss rifles? What's the range band on that? 450 to 900? Okay. The Blackwell is the same. I mean, it would be funny if we were running dual heavy Gauss rifles. That would actually be really funny. What kind of a tonnage would we need to net to get that? We might be able to run that. So we drop these double heat sinks, put in the heavy Gauss rifles, like that. We're 18 tons overweight, as is. That's unsurprising. We drop these double heat sinks, 14 tons overweight. We drop the ER large lasers, half a ton remaining. Fascinating. What do we have for heavy Gauss ammo? That's something we should figure out before we proceed with this. Actually, we have pretty good amounts of ammo here. Now, these don't explode. And we have 2 double tons of ammo. We could have that be, that's 10 shots each. So, I mean, that would be 10 turns of heavy Gauss ammo. That's going to chip through a lot. Now, that does put us back up into the overweight category. We could potentially run some armor and structure, though. So, something like Clan Ferrofibrous. It's going to be somewhat expensive. And we would be able to run the... I mean, we don't really have internal structure at this point. We really should probably prioritize salvaging some. That puts us only 1 ton overweight there. We could run Heavy Ferro instead. Now, that's 15 reserved slots. But that does give us the weight that we needed. Fascinating. Now, I would love to run just like quad medium lasers, ER ideally, as the backup for this. So, yeah, like these Clan ER medium lasers would be ideal. We'll see what our heat looks like with those. Actually, not terrible. We are 3.3 tons overweight, obviously. We do have a 1 heatsink cap here with the engine core 280. We don't necessarily need the 280 in this, or we could potentially go, and this is going to get really expensive, we could potentially look at going with a Clan XL engine. That gets real expensive real quick. But then we could think about doing something like some double heat sinks in the arms. There's only so many that we can put in. In fact, we can only put in 1. Because we only have 2 slots available now. So we can only put in the 1 double heatsink. I don't think that's really worthwhile. This Engine XL is too expensive, and it actually saves too much weight while using up too many slots. However, we could easily drop from double heatsinks down to standard heatsinks. Or, well, that doesn't actually help us. That doesn't help us at all. We need to figure out a way to shave off a few tons to make this work. Now, we could drop to dual ER medium lasers. That's an option. I'm not sure how great of one it is. We're running energy accuracy FCS right now, and we should probably be running... Do we have, like, Gauss accuracy directly? Heavy Gauss rifles are technically a ballistic weapon. So we do have that ballistic aim that we could run. The ballistic accuracy here. So something like this. That could work. But where do we want to get 3 tons? That's the question. Where do we pull 3 tons off of this? Again, we could drop our ER medium lasers down like this, and then we only need to drop 1 ton. We could theoretically drop the engine core, though, and that's something that we should look into. So we've got the 275 here. The movement is currently 3 and 4. If we go down to 275, then that puts our movement at 3 and 4. Exactly the same. Fascinating. So what if we were to put those medium lasers back on? We're not currently using the engine heatsink. The Clan medium lasers are, of course, more heat. So we may want to think about dropping the Clan ER lasers and going to just ER medium lasers, although we don't have very many of those. So we could run something like this. It is concerning about the heat, but we don't have to fire the ER medium lasers, right? We can back off on our medium laser firing, and that's fine. We only have a heat delta here of 35. So we don't fire 2 of our lasers, and we're heat negative. So that's okay. We will need to continue to drop off weight, though, and I think that the engine may be the right way to do that. We drop to a 265, and we're only 0.8 tons overweight. We're still 3 and 4. We drop to a 260. We are still 3 and 4. We haven't had any actual change to our movement. We drop to a 255. 2 and 4. Okay, so that is where we see the change. So an engine core 260 appears to be the sweet spot. We're going to have to drop 0.8 tons. And the question becomes, how do we want to do that? Do we have... Is there such a thing as a gyro that reduces the gyro weight? I mean, there's a stability gyro here. That's all well and good. We're not going to be closing into melee, obviously. We could just drop the weight out of the legs, though. These ammos don't explode, so I actually feel like we do drop... I mean, this is going to be quite a lot of leg ammo that we end up dropping here. We can revisit this, though, once we have a ferrofibrous structure. So yeah, it'd be like 150. We drop 40 points of armor out of each leg, but our Gauss ammo does not actually explode. So that might end up being okay. And I feel like this is quite an upgrade. Over quad ER large lasers? Yeah, small upgrade. What is this up here? This is one or more weapons that require ammo. Yeah, we have the heavy Gauss ammo here. What are you talking about? Oh, the AMS. Oh, I completely missed the AMS. That actually gives us a ton. So that means that we can max out this armor. That was not what I was hoping for the max armor button to do. We can max out the armor manually, I guess. Yeah, it did that because of the heavy Pharaoh. And we max this out manually. That's fine. Like so. This is a solid upgrade. Now, the question is, do we want to replace the AMS in some way? We do actually have some specialist slots here. I mean, I feel like the B-Pod is a little bit underwhelming. It's anti-battle armor, right? And now that battle armor can spawn in attached to mechs, maybe we actually keep that. But it's underwhelming if there isn't battle armor. But we do have the AA missile rack on here too, which is always nice. Do we want to maybe put something else strap-on, though? I mean, we could. But honestly, I think this is good as is. We have 0.2 tons to spare, and we could easily put that into something along the lines of modular armor. If we wanted to add a little bit, well, that's 1 full ton. Never mind. That's not going to be a thing. We could, in theory... punch damage and kick damage. Infected Myomer bundles. I suppose we could put one of those over here, but I'd rather have them be even. We don't really have a hard point to utilize. That's 0.2 tons. That's not going to be a thing. There's an IFF jammer, but that's not amazingly helpful for what we're looking for. I think we just have to leave this with 0.2 tons remaining. We'll revisit it once this structure can be put in. I mean, we're going to run out of slots for sure. But we can revisit that later. Yeah. This is completely fine. We already are repairing all that. So we'll get the Mauler good to go. That'll be 11 days. And we're going to leave it at home for right now. This is going to be a really solid upgrade to it, though. So I'm very pleased with that. We're going to hop into the barracks here and do some training quick for our mech warriors.
Receiving you. Yes, Commander.
And brother can grab a point of piloting. Excellent.
Mech warrior training complete.
What else can we do here?
Good to go.
Chronic Toast still needs some work. Coma is now officially maxed. Excellent.
Yes, Commander.
Final point of gunnery for Muffin Top. Always great. We really do like getting that gunnery.
Yes, Commander.
Point of piloting for Paladin will be fine.
Mech warrior training complete.
Okay. And let's see what
I'm
else. Point of piloting for Panzer.
Training complete.
Excellent.
Yes, Commander.
For Poet, we're absolutely going to take Warlord. Finally.
Training confirmed, Commander.
That's great. That will also go ahead and boost our hit odds with her a little bit. We're going to grab a point of tactics for Rain.
Mech warrior
Get that
training
sweet
complete.
initiative and sensor roll.
Aye, aye.
And otherwise, Taboo gets his final point of gunnery.
Training complete.
Sounds great. Okay, let's go ahead and deploy here since we're not going to wait on the Mauler. And what do we want to deploy to? Honestly, something fairly quick again. Our funds have dropped a bit. And I say something quick again. Last episode wasn't exactly quick. Some of these will be quick, and some of them won't, and it's hard to tell from this point. This is a defend base. I mean, that one has a deliberate time limit on it. It can't go much longer than a few rounds. So I think we'll go ahead and do this. That'll be a fairly quick one for sure. I want to check for free priority salvages. None. Okay. We'll run it straight down the middle, and that'll be fine. The Mauler is, of course, not going to be brought. And we don't need it to be brought. Fantastic. This is all good to go right now, although Taboo is not being fielded here, and we had somebody that was just maxed. That was Coma. So we're going to leave Coma at home for the time being. And Taboo, what do you have for affinities? Atlas, and that's, well, Atlas and Corsair. Panzer, you have Corsair, Wolverine, Centurion, and Muffin Top, you've got Battlemaster. Okay. Not too helpful. We'll just put Taboo in the Orion, and he'll have to get used to that a little bit. Yep, I'm aware you think that, Darius. You're wrong. But that Mauler with the dual heavy Gauss, that's going to do a lot of damage. Like, that's theoretically, that's a maximum of, what, 400 damage per hit? That's a lot. Like, that's actually more damage per hit than our Salamander, and it's more, well, it's a little riskier because the eggs are in more baskets. But it means that if it does hit, it will do more damage to any particular location, right? Because the Salamander has I would say an unfortunate tendency to spread out its fire, same with the Mad Cat. And both of those mechs, they spread out their fire very wide and shred a ton of armor, just overall, off of the enemy. And then our more focused fire mechs are able to take them down from there. Granted, we also do a lot of crit fishing with those mechs because there's a lot of rolls, and we hit fast-moving targets with them too for the same reason. Because there's just tons and tons of rolls with those mechs. The Mauler is not that. The Mauler is, of course, going to be much, much different. Like I said, it's going to need to be firing fairly precisely in order for it to actually do damage, and if it misses, that's a big, big miss, because that's going to mean if it misses with one Gauss rifle, that's 5% of its entire damage output just pretty much gone. Granted, that ignores the lasers, but even so, that's a pretty big deal. At any rate, we need to defend the occupied base. We have a small disused base in a remote part of Carver. We need it and are preparing to reactivate it. We'd like to hire you to recon the facility and defend it until our forces can move in. We'll have a Lance with you in half a day and a logistics team within 24 hours. Commander, if they're hiring mercs to babysit when their forces are less than a day away, they expect trouble. Rumors say local government forces are in the area, and they could present a threat. Indeed they could, but we'll need to cruise through this fairly quickly. Babysitting job may be heating up. Yup, looks like we've got turrets and they're on their way. Yup. All well and good. Where's that enemy vanguard at, though? The enemy vanguard is up over here. Okay, so I think we'll deploy, like, right in here. That'll actually work. Some of these mechs might be a little stuckish, but we'll see. Yep, that'll be fine. Remember, we can get ourselves unstuck if necessary. Okay. We are, of course, entering combat, round 2 here. We see the Steiner units over here. And, okay, they've got a Seth, a Nidhogg, and another Nidhogg, in addition to an Annihilator. They're immediately lighting up our Bullshark.
I laugh at your puny attack.
But that didn't really do too much. Now, that was the Nidhogg. The Seth is the bigger threat. But we'll see what they decide to do here. The Seth gets to move. And it could do a lot of damage to us, in theory. It's hitting our Boar's Head. Okay, so the heat is going to be a little bit complicated there. We'll see if it ace pilots. But honestly, they didn't do too much damage there. And it's now our turn. So who do we move first? First, we move our Battlemaster. The Battlemaster is going to head on in. The only unit that it has LOS on here is the Nidhogg, but we have really good hit odds. We're going to Warlord primarily for clustering and to improve those hit odds even more. We would love to see this Nidhogg gone, but it's not going to happen right now. That's a lot of armor stripped off of it, though. Beautiful. Next up is going to be our Salamander. The Salamander is going to sprint up here. The only unit that we actually get to see is the Nidhogg, so we're not going to sprint. We're just going to walk up, and we're going to fire on that Nidhogg. We do expect this to shoot down the Nidhogg with it being softened. But I am going to boost the Warlord, or use the Warlord, rather, specifically for the clustering portion of it. I do expect the Nidhogg to be gone here. His AMS is absolutely overwhelmed, and there it goes.
Enemy eliminated.
Excellent. Next up, our enemies are going to move. That's going to be the Hunchback. Makes its way up, does not fire. It's just sprinting its way up the road to try to get to the escort zone. There's that Annihilator over there, but it's in poor repair. The other Nidhogg moves up. It goes for the rear arc on that Hunchy. It could easily get the kill. And indeed it does. Okay. Well, only one of the enemy Lance, or the allied Lance rather, has to survive, and that Highlander is much more suited to surviving. The Orion is going to move up. Now, we're going to hit the Seth here, although we're a little bit concerned about its AMS. I think we may want to fire this in... listen kill is the best mode here. Okay, we're going to fire it in listen kill, and we'll see what we get done to the Seth. I don't know that it's going to be a lot.
Welcome to my outfit.
Yeah, 17 from 40 means that they shot down virtually half of those missiles, but the Magcat Mark II is going to sprint up here, and it can absolutely overwhelm the Seth with its missiles. We're going to Warlord to boost those odds a bit. They're still not great. It's not as good as the Salamander, but we should do a decent chunk here. Yeah, not bad there, actually. Good armor strip. So the Awesome, it is actually stuck. So we're going to need to do careful maneuvers, which will allow us to step down over here.
Copy that.
And from there, we can fire on this Nidhogg. Now, we can't actually also Warlord, but we can potshot this a little bit. I think, for heat purposes, I'm thinking about not firing the improved heavy laser. We only have a 21% chance of hitting with it anyway.
Copy
So let's
that.
go ahead and fire on the Nidhogg. Now, the Nidhogg did already fire its primary threat abilities, so that's okay. It also AMSs most of that, but that's to be expected. The Corsair is going to step up to here, and we're going to go for that Seth. Now, we have weakened its front armor quite a lot. We're going to Warlord this to boost the odds even further, and we could easily see a shoot down here. We'll see what happens.
Okay, I'm on it.
We missed with one of our light Gausses. We did see an armor penetration there, but not enough to shoot down the Seth, but it's very close.
I'm here.
The Bull Shark is going to move up over here. We're going to fire on the Seth in flak mode on the artillery. I'm not going to bother firing the AP Gausses. This should easily be a kill.
May I interest you in smelting armor?
There we go. The Seth is out of here.
One less target.
It must go. Its people need it. The Highlander moves up and is turning its back to that Annihilator, which is really rude. Luckily, the Annihilator can't shoot, so that's a good sign. Excellent.
I'm here.
The Boar's Head is going to step up over to here. There are flames on the way, but we're going to fire on this Nidhogg in flak mode. We're going to do damage to it. I don't necessarily expect that we shoot it down, but we'll go ahead and Warlord that. And the Nidhogg already fired most of its weapons, so we're not really too concerned about that. The sniper artillery hitting way out here was sad, but the Arrow 4 did hit the Nidhogg. Okay, next round. So the Nidhogg is going to move immediately. And we'll see what it does here. It's probably going to go for the rear arc of the Highlander, but that's still pretty fresh, in all honesty. Yep, that's exactly what it goes for. Now, the Highlander is going to lose its evasive pips, but it moves phase 10, and the Annihilator moves phase 8. So the Highlander is actually going to move first, and it's going to make its way up this way. I don't know that it makes it to the escort zone, but it's going to get close. The Battlemaster will move up, and we're going to fire on that Nidhogg. Although our hit odds are not amazing, we're going to pot shot this. Actually, we did pretty well there. I like it. The Orion is going to step up, and we're going to fire on that Nidhogg. We are absolutely expecting that they're going to be able to shoot down a lot of these missiles. Structure exposure, though, looks good.
Yep.
And now the Salamander moves up, and the Salamander will absolutely destroy this Nidhogg. There's no way around it. This Nidhogg is dead. Kaboom. Excellent. So now the threat is the Annihilator.
Bye-bye.
At this point, we reserve. We want to allow the Annihilator to move, and of course,
Mind my own
the
business
Highlander
till
will
an
move
opportunity
first.
presents
It
itself.
sprints up, and now we're going to allow the Annihilator to move. I want to see where it goes,
On the computer.
but I don't think it gets LOS on the Highlander here. Okay, it barely moves. Sounds good. So the Awesome is going to see if we can find an LOS on it. We actually can. We're going to pop over
On my
here,
way.
and we're going to
Double tap.
fire this. This is actually very good hit odds. I like it. We can Warlord. And let's light him up.
Firing a full salvo.
That is a structure exposure in the leg.
Take that.
That's really solid.
Standing
The
by.
Magcat Mark II is going to make its way over this way, but it's mostly just going to sink his heat. Excellent.
What do you need?
The Corsair is not really able to get LOS. It'll move over
Roger.
here, sink his heat.
Orders?
The Bull Shark is going to step over. I'm not concerned about Bull Shark ammo, so we're going to fire the Long Tom. I am a little concerned about LRM ammo, so we'll hold off on that for right
Locking
now.
on.
That's a reasonable hit, right where I wanted it to be.
Hey.
Excellent. The Boar's Head we're a little lower on artillery on, but I'm still going to fire it here. And we will fire the LRM as well.
Copy that.
This may be a
Firing
knockdown to the Annihilator. That would be huge if so. Gauss rifle explosion. That's huge.
That looked like
Double engine crits as well. A knockdown. That Annihilator is not doing so well.
Heads up, Commander. You've got hostile contact.
That is very expected. Apparently they're landing right on the base. Right on the base. Okay, we see a Longbow and Orion. We see a Mackie, a jerry-rigged Demolisher, and a Banshee out over this way. And we don't see anything else.
What's up, boss?
Okay. So the Battlemaster is going to sprint in over here, where we have a direct fire on that Annihilator. We're going for the kill on it. We want it gone immediately. And we're just going to fire in this torso, where we're pretty sure it has an XL engine. It does. Okay. We didn't get the crits we were really looking for there.
Inflicted some heavy damage.
That is sad. We'll send a second mech over there. The Magcat Mark II is going to want to head over this way. We're not really well positioned for the enemy lances over there, but that's fine. And with there being 2 enemy lances over here... Yeah, there's definitely 2 enemy lances over here. It's only 7 rounds left, but I think that I am going to put a cut in here. It is time for that, and we've had a lot of long episodes in a row, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.